Hey guys, it's me Paco, and welcome back to Bad Witch Books. Today we are going to be going over my July reads. I read about 10 books this month, so it's so far the most books I've read this month. I physically read most of the books. I listened to a couple audiobooks, and I read some graphic novels. Well, they're not graphic novels, they're two comics. And the genres I read one adult romance, one memoir. Like I said, I read two superhero comic book graphic novel, comic bind-ups. And the rest were young adult, and most of them were fantasy, and I did read one historical. So, let's get into it. So the first book I finished this month I've read most of this book in June, but I finished it in July, so it's on this list. So, Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the cover, because I do not know where my copy is, because I am unorganized. But, so, this book is about Danny Brown. She's a sister from Get a Life, Chloe Brown, one of the sisters. But she is a college professor, and she gets, trapped in an elevator, and the security guard, Zaf, I think is how you say his, yes, Zaf, he ends up saving her. He's a security guard, and he ends up saving her. And it gets noticed on Twitter, and they go viral. And it ends up bringing, recognition. People start recognizing Zaf from his former days as a rugby player. And also, he has a non-profit organization that's getting more attention because people are noticing him. So, they start fake dating so that they can get even more attention. And this book's funny. It's steamy. Oh, it is. Clench my pearls, steamy. But, I really enjoyed this book. The romance I loved it. I love both our characters. I really like that Danny is a witch. She practices witchcraft in the book. But yeah, the next book we have, The Mother of Black Hollywood, a memoir by Jennifer Lewis. I really wanted to read this. The last memoir I read was not last year, but the year before. I read Tiffany Haddish's Last Black Unicorn. And when I finished that, I was like, I want to start reading more nonfiction. So I want to try to at least read more nonfiction since I didn't do that last year. I'm going to try to do that more this year and the next year. So, yeah, this is the cover. Because, I listened to this on audiobook, an audiobook of it, which I would suggest for you guys to do because it's her actually reading it, and it comes off a lot easier. Like I said, it's her that reads it, and Jennifer Lewis is just, she knows what she's doing. That makes sense. She's funny and she's great. I really enjoyed it. It talked about her struggles with mental illness and her sexual addiction. It talked about the transfer from Hollywood to Broadway, or Broadway to Hollywood, and I really like interesting as someone who I'm interested in acting, or I was growing up. I like the differences of when stage to film, how it's different from Broadway. You have to be able to reach the back of the audience. And everything like that. So everything has to be bigger. But when you're on camera, everything's a lot closer. But, so yeah, I like that. And I love Jennifer Lewis, and I love hearing her tell her life story. I'd really suggest this for an audiobook. And I like what she says and how she brings attention to mental illness. Okay, so the next book I read this month was my first comic bind-up. It was Catwoman, Volume 1 of the newest run. It is copy Volume 1 by Joelle Jones. This takes place after Tom King's Batman run that he had, where Catwoman and Batman were going to get married, and spoilers, Catwoman leaves Batman at the altar at the end of that event. And so Catwoman, she goes off on her own, and I forget where she goes. I think it's a fictional city. I am not positive because I don't know everything, but she ends up going somewhere, and in this place she goes to, I guess, the local underground. It's really weird. This comic was really weird. The villain was really I didn't understand her or her point in it, but I did think this was just a setup. Catwoman, it did end up bringing her sister in it, and if you know anything about comics and you know what happens to Catwoman's sister in the past, ooh. But so I really like that aspect, that we got to see more of Maggie, Catwoman's sister. Other than that, it was alright. Like I said, the villain in this was not great. She was just like some random government wife slash mob boss kind of lady. And then you had like a thing where it was like someone else was dressed as Catwoman and doing stuff at making Catwoman look worse. And that kind of went nowhere. So I'd give it a 3 stars. The other 2 books, I don't know if I said the ratings. I give 4.5 for Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and 5 stars for the memoir. But I'm probably going to give every memoir I read 5 stars just because it's kind of harder to judge that for, I don't know, being nonfiction than it is fiction. But the art's really good. I like the art. If I can show it. Yeah. You get more actions of Catwoman. And I love Catwoman as a character. It just, yeah, this one I might try with the next arc, which volume 2, I don't know what volume 2 is called. See where it goes, but it was alright. So the next book I read was Forest of Souls. This is the Fairy Loot edition by Lori M. Lee. You kind of like not get you a glare. Oh, it's a glary book. Okay. This is about Sorsha, I think is how we say her name. She ends up like finding out that she's a shaman, so she has soul, like the way the shamans are broken down is an avatar feel where it's like elemental magic, and then but yeah, so it's a bunch of different kinds of magic. Like there's different kinds of shamans for different things. Hers is light and souls almost. I liked it. It was alright. I give it this one about 3 stars. The story was okay. The plot was okay. I really liked her world and the way she set it up and the way that I just love the world, and the magic system was really cool and interesting to me. And like I said, it had different shamans can do different things, and then you had other things that weren't shamans that could do magic, and it was interesting. The plot was alright, and I did like our like it had a strong female friendship in the book, which I liked. So the next book I read was 5 stars, and this is A Song of Wraith and Ruin. Ooh, this is a gorgeous book. And the light on here actually, ooh, this looks gorgeous. Okay, so A Song of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. This is about 2 characters, Malik and Karina. I got it right. Where's the balloons? Because I finally didn't have to look on a book for the name of the characters. But this is about Malik and Karina. Karina is the princess of the kingdom, and her mother ends up dying. It says this in the synopsis of the book, so it's not a spoiler. And she needs the heart of a king for a spell to bring her mom back. And then Malik, his sister, gets kidnapped by like these evil spirits that are like, if you kill the princess, we will give you your sister back. And so he enters a competition where like it's like a festival, like multi-day competition that Karina announces that whoever wins gets her hand in marriage. And so they're like kind of both trying to it's like they're both trying to kill each other, but then they meet and then they end up like kind of falling for each other. So it's not really like enemies to lovers as it is like, I don't know who you are, the idea of you I don't like. It's really interesting. I loved them together as a ship. It was like the magic was really cool in this, and I like the fact she had her own like zodiac. I'm really interested in the zodiac and astrology, and the way she had it was interesting, where like each day, the day you were born depends on like on what like alignment you have. I think Tuesday, which I would be, because I always find in my interest in what I would be. I think I'm a moon alignment. But I thought that was really interesting. I like the book. I love our characters. I like the Malik. He's an adorable child, like just not child, but innocent, and he's a soft boy. And then Karina, I like her. I like how angry she gets. I just find it really interesting, and I want to see more of this. I'm excited for the second book. But yeah, that was 5 stars. Because the next book might be one of my top 5 books of the year. And I mean, Song of Wraith and Ruin might be too. Like, it could be on that list. But this book definitely is. And that is the sequel to The Damned. And that is, the sequel to The Beautiful, which is The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. This book was so good. It gave me everything I needed. and everything I didn't know I needed, because like it was going in places that I didn't think it was gonna be going. That I was like, come on, let's get back to this. But still, I loved it. I love Bastian. This account, official Bastian stand account. So who am I going to have to sell my soul to for the next book is my question. This was so good. It gave me everything I needed, my vampire loving heart needed. It was great. I know people have complained about The Beautiful not having enough vampires in it. Well, they're in this book. And then I loved our like found family that we get in this book, because this book's not Celine's book. Like, she's not even in this book until a little way into it, because it's about Bastian. It is so good. I loved our inner family. I want more of Jay and his love interest in the book. I don't want to like spoil anything like that, but like I want to know more about Jay. I want to know more about our like found family we have in this book. It was so good. And I love The Beautiful too. The Beautiful was so good, and I loved it in a different way than I love this. But like the romance in this book, Bastian is just like I said. This is a stand account. I'm ready to fight if something happens. So yeah, okay. My next book is, what did I read next? I should know these. Okay, the next book is a graphic novel. A comic book wind up, and I read this I wanted to read this for the reading rush. I ended up stopping halfway through. So glad I did. All the stuff that happened. There are better people to look up to see what happened than me. I think it's messed up what they did. But yeah, so that's all we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, what they did wasn't okay. Was Wonder Woman Dark Gods. I do not know what happened to my coffee, because like I said earlier, I am unorganized. But, so yes, in this book, this takes place after Dark Knight Metal, which was a huge, like, reality-shaping event for DC, like they have, like, almost every year. Like, I'd hate to live in the DC universe, because they be changing shit. Like, it's, like, alternate reality warping event every year. But, okay, so after this one, this one takes place, and in this one, Diana had made a wish to bring the gods back. But I guess she didn't specify what gods, because the gods from the Dark Dimension, which if you don't understand some DC lore, and what was revealed in the DC Metal event is that we have not our universe, we have our universe, and we have like all the alternate realities in our universe. But there is a dark universe where all the worst things could happen in that universe. But, so Diana's wish to bring the gods back ends up bringing those gods from that realm. And those gods are pretty interesting. I liked it. And we had Diana's brother, Jason, who, he was good in the other two volumes. So I read the other two volumes, before this, which is why I continued reading it. But, in this book I did not mention, it is by James Robinson. And it's illustrated by Stefan Segovia. But, it was alright. I didn't like the ending. It didn't have enough, like, action for me. I know we got some of the Star Sapphires, which is really interesting, the Pink Lanterns. And I love it when Diana teams up with them. But, it was alright. It was alright. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I'm excited to read these other books you'll see on my TBR that I found for Wonder Woman. I'm so excited to read those. They look so good. Okay, so the next book I finished was Hunting Prince Dracula. I have the book right here. I finally finished listening to Hunting Prince Dracula, by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm bad at names. We know this. This book, I liked it. It was alright. I gave it 3.5 stars, but that's not a bad rating to me. I call these, the Stalking Prince Dracula movies. I'm gonna give these movies what I give a bunch of movies. It's a good random Netflix movie, like, in a book form, if that makes sense. Like, you know those days where you're like, what's this movie on Netflix? I'm gonna put it on. You don't know anything about it. And then you end up watching it. And, I mean, you watch it, of course. And you like it. You're like, it's not bad. It's alright. It was alright. It wasn't the greatest. Like, I didn't have to pay to go see this in the movie theaters. But on Netflix, it's good. So that's what I really think's what I give these movies. They're 3.5 stars. They're like great. They're good. Not great, but alright. I really like the atmosphere of this book because it takes place in Transylvania. If I didn't say what this one was about, this is, let me actually show off the Fake Crate plushie because I just got her and I love her. She's beautiful. I read the series because I liked the Fake Crate plushie. Put it back. But this one, they end up going to Romania and they go to stay at Prince Dracula's castle that has been like not taken over, but like transitioned into a school for autopsies. I cannot think of the word of it. Let me look it up. It is a school. Forensics. That's the word, Papa. But yeah, so it's a forensics school, a really like prestigious forensics school, and like students start going missing. I really liked it. I love vampire lore. If like I couldn't say that enough from like my Love of the Damned, but yeah, I love vampire lore. Like when you get into the real the Strigoi and stuff like that, and so like it talked about that stuff, and it didn't have vampires and stuff in it. I don't know if that's a spoiler alert, but I liked it. It was really good. The aesthetic, you could say I love the vampire aesthetic that it had. And I'm excited to listen to the next one, because I think I'm not listening to these. Even though I bought them, I'm probably going to listen to them, because I already listened to the first and second one. So the next book, I didn't even plan on reading. I was reading another book, and I was like, alright. And then I just picked up this book and like read it in like 2 days. And that is Bruja Born by Zerdavia Cordova. I read Labyrinth Lost last month, and I just finished this book, like I said, this month. This book was really good. It follows Lulu, the second sister of our three sisters. Alex from the and Rose are the two other sisters. But this follows her and the aftermath of Labyrinth Lost and how she has changed from being in that the underworld, or Los Logos, that she was in. And then also, this is in the description, so it's not a spoiler. A massive, huge accident happens, like bus crash, and it ends up killing her boyfriend, and a bunch of students end up dying, and she does a spell to bring them back, and it just causes like mayhem. And so I liked it. I liked it, and I like our magical world that got like, because like in in Labyrinth Lost, we really just focus on the Brujas and Brujos, but in this, we've got a like bigger grasp on what the like magic city, or what the magic in New York City was, and like what else there was besides Brujos and Brujas. So it was really good. I liked it. I can't wait for the next book to come out. Is the last book ever? No. Okay, so yeah. So then this book I am still reading. I'm less than 100 pages. So I'll probably finish it today or tomorrow, because it is currently the 30th. So I'll probably finish this today or tomorrow. And that is Girl Servant Thorn by Melissa Bella. Okay, I'm not going to try, because we've learned I do not know how to pronounce names. But this is about Sora. Bad at names. She is a princess. And she's poisoned to the touch. So like if you touch her skin, you die. Very rogue-esque. But so she's kind of like kept locked up. She's not like imprisoned, but like she's kept away from everybody. Ooh, my foot fell asleep. Okay. She's kept away from everybody. And so she ends up like meeting these people and trying to break her curse. And I'm liking it. It's really good. I can't give like my whole 100% like opinions on it, because I haven't finished it, but I'm enjoying it. And like, look at this fairy. Can we just talk about this beautiful Fairy Loot edition? The beautiful green sprayed edges. But yeah, so I liked it. I'm liking it so far. But so that was my July reads. Comment down below what you guys read this month. What was your favorite reads? If I had to say my favorite read, it was probably The Damned with Song of Wraith and Ruin, just like right there. Almost there, but the vampire aspect like pushed that to the top. So, like I said, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of moi. I try to post videos every Monday and Friday. If you want to find me on Twitter, it is Bad Witch Reads. Instagram, I'm Bad Witch Books. And I will see you guys next time.